Hello and welcome to another short, quick episode, this time looking at the character of Roger from Lord of the Flies and just thinking about why he is so important, why this character who barely says a word over the course of the novel actually towards the end comes to dominate it. And in fact, there is a suggestion that hierarchically he's not too far off Jack in terms of power on the island. I want to read for you the initial introduction of the character of Roger right at the very beginning of the book. This is the first mention of Roger as a character, and then as we want to be doing in our essays, making connections across the text and then look at the difference in terms of Roger right towards the end of the novel. So this is from The Sound of the Shell. So we are right at the very beginning. I think we're on page 18 if you've got your copy of the novel with you. Now, this is the introduction of Roger. There was a slight furtive boy whom no one knew, who kept to himself with an inner intensity of avoidance and secrecy. He muttered that his name was Roger and was silent again. So he's muttering, he's keeping to himself. Interestingly, and perhaps this is open to figurative interpretation, no one knew. No one knew in the more obvious kind of literal sense of no one has come across him before, but also I think in the kind of broader, more far-reaching sense of no one really can kind of access Roger's inner life. And one of the reasons why that is this intensity of avoidance and secrecy. And it does beg the question, what is he avoiding? Why is he so secretive? What are his secrets? I think we get probably quite a good idea what those secrets might be in the stone throwing incident. We definitely get a good idea of what those secrets might be when he's involved in the horrific, brutal, sadistic killing of the sow. But we also get a real strong sense in the section I'm going to read to you now. Now, this is from The Cry of the Hunter. So now we're on page 210, and this is the actual final chapter of the book. So this is the point, remember, in the novel where things have completely broken apart. We've just had the death of Piggy, and Ralph has had to flee into the undergrowth, and he's hiding. And the other boys, under the leadership of the chief, he's no longer Jack anymore, he's the chief, under the leadership of the chief, they're hunting him down, and Ralph is fleeing from them, running very much like a pig, we might say, and he has a sort of secretive interaction where he's trying to work out sort of what to do, and he's speaking to Sam and Eric. Now, Sam and Eric have sort of been forced over to Jack's side, the chief's side, and so Ralph's speaking to them, and he says this. "But I've done nothing," whispered Ralph urgently. "I only wanted to keep up a fire." There's a brief interaction, and then he asks the rather unpleasant question, or at least the answer is going to be unpleasant. "When they find me, what are they going to do?" The twins were silent. Beneath him, the death rock flowered again. "What are they? Oh God, I'm hungry." The towering rock seemed to sway under him. "Well, what?" The twins answered his question indirectly. "You got to go now, Ralph. For your own good. Keep away, as far as you can." And then Ralph says, "Won't you come with me? 3 of us, we'd stand a chance." After a moment's silence, Sam spoke in a strangled voice. "You don't know Roger. He's a terror. And the chief, they're both terrors. Only Roger." Both boys froze. Someone was climbing towards them from the tribe. "He's coming to see if we're keeping watch. Quick, Ralph." Okay, and then Ralph says that he's going to sort of stay nearby. Sam and Eric give him a little bit of food. They push him a chunk of meat. And then we get this really grim interaction. "But what are you going to do when you catch me?" Silence above. He sounded silly to himself. He lowered himself down the rock. "What are you going to do?" From the top of the towering rock came the incomprehensible reply. Roger sharpened a stick at both ends. Roger sharpened a stick at both ends. Ralph tried to attach a meaning to this, but could not. Okay, and then he also has a kind of horrible kind of recollection of Piggy's death, which obviously he's seen not long before this particular moment. So what can we say about that? Well, think about the contrast with Roger at the very beginning to how he is now. He says, Sam and Eric say, Sam specifically says to begin with, you don't know Roger, he's a terror. And then they actually seem to say terrors, as in they're talking about the chief, Jack. Only Roger, as in only Roger, is actually worse. So, and then Roger sharpening a stick at both ends. The implication there, which is an implication that Ralph can't even really get his head around, is the idea that they're going to catch him and they're going to kill him like they would a pig, and then they're going to cut his head off and they're going to put it on a spike. And that tells us, I think, a lot of what we need to know about Roger's inner intensity of avoidance and secrecy, this furtive boy, as he's referred to elsewhere in the book. And if you put this moment with the killing of the sow, we get a real sense of an extremely dark, unsettling figure in Roger, barely says a word. Notice as well that it's Roger, we can connect perhaps this to what's going on here. It is Roger who suggests they have a vote, and I think that's not because of Roger's commitment to fairness and democracy, but I think Roger, it stands in for the kind of individuals who determine hierarchies, who wish to identify hierarchical power, and then use their inner intensity of avoidance and secrecy to allow them to attach themselves to positions of power, which again gives them the opportunity to engage in this case, really sadistic, brutal violence under the sort of auspices, supposedly in the service of Jack's leadership as chief, but also there is this sense of Roger gaining more and more power towards the end of the novel. So a really interesting one, lots to be thinking about. Don't forget Roger. I know he doesn't say very much, but he does a great deal. And the stone throwing incident too is an extremely instructive moment in the book. So if you put all of those different pieces together, depending on what the essay task could be, if it is something about power, if it's something about violence, if it's something about control, then Roger has to feature there somewhere, somehow. Okay, I hope that's useful, just getting you to reconsider some moments. And again, a couple of moments perhaps from the book that you may not have looked at in a little while. So best of luck in your final exam on Monday. And hopefully we'll try and get a couple more of these out over the course of the weekend.